That's all we need to watch, I think. And with that said, we can start the game up. Um, we do have a little bit we have to do. There's still quite a bit. I do think that Shiva is in the game somewhere that we have to kill before we can get to the next area. And then there's going to be that cutscene still, I believe. So there's quite a bit we have to do. It's already going to be 8:30 over here in a few minutes, right? So we do have to get cracking, guys. Um, but it was a cool trailer. They're very cinematic, right? So a lot of the trailers are very flashy. They're good-looking trailers, but they don't have like that much story compared to like that one right there. There is one more that's kind of similar. I would say out of all the trailers I've seen, I'm not sure if I even seen them all at this point. There's so many, right? But a lot of them are just showing off the classes that you can get or you can use. That said, we do have to speak to Albert. Where is he? There he is over here. I would love to see like the original version of this game. I'm sure that there's like a lot of gameplay out there. And I do think that like the man with like the short black hair, whenever you start the game, if you notice like that is the default character you start as. So I do think that's supposed to be you or like your main character, right? They use him for all the trailers. He might not be the same job, but they use him for all the trailers. I do believe the canon character for this game is supposed to be a paladin, I think, but not the one that we've seen. Right? It's the guy with the short black hair dressed as a paladin. I'm not sure if he has an actual name or not. Where is he? Oh, he's over here. We're gonna have to cut that out for sure. But it's not a big deal, right? It's early in the game still, so I haven't done any gameplay. You guys remember we're trying to find like some trader that's been like embedded in here since early, right? He's probably part of the Immortal Flames. This is a gigantic axe. It's a very cool looking axe too. Some people do look really cool, and then there's like dancing bunny girl. Literally just looks like a Hollywood bunny with a paint gun. If only my character would look like this, right? And then when I be right back, I can just have her dance for a while. Everybody would be entertained, I'm pretty sure. Probably. Probably. If as much as I do want more viewers, like there's some things that I don't do, right? Uh, I don't want to use a female character, all that stuff. I'm not against a clickbait video though. Right, a nice clickbaity thumbnail. That's what MXR likes to do. That's why I'll click a lot of their videos. I'm actually wondering how I got started watching them, right? Like, what was the video that clicked? Because eventually, they just started popping up on my feed. A lot of this stuff is just talk to someone and report back. I really don't like these kind of missions when they make you do that. Like, we literally just got two like lines of dialogue out this guy. At least if there was like some more, I'd be like, okay, at least you're listening to him for a little bit. raise the volume back up on this in this game. Uh, Finally. So I do think we're finally caught up to our samurai. The samurai just came fully packed with a set of gear that was pretty good compared to this guy. Oh, with that said though, I should have been like, once you reach level 50 and you can get your tombstones. First of all, let's update this gear set. Uh, when you get to level 50, you can start collecting tombstones, right? And you could use those tombstones, to buy like gear. And there are like sets of 110 gear that you can get. So that's probably what you should start doing once you're level 50, right? Making sure you run the content that you can get it in, which is mainly when you first start, like these quests over here, where you get 100, 150. You can spam them a couple times. It's gonna take a while though, right? So I don't recommend sitting there and just mind-numbingly clicking it. I mean, you can if you want. You're gonna be grinding anyway, but you're gonna move out of level 50 fairly quickly if you're not like a free trial member. Right, you gotta get out of 50 fairly quickly. Even if you're a free trial member, usually you're gonna get to level 60 moderately, right? Depending on how much you play. But you can also use tombstones for other gear as well. So make sure you run your stuff, guys. All right. Like I said, I think we're fairly close to the DLC. If you've seen yesterday, or somewhat sometime this morning, like we met someone that was from Ishgard, and we were asking them to join the alliance. Uh, the DLC is mainly about them like dealing with dragons, right? There's like a big war of a big war in Ishgard, right? Dragons are there. They got to deal with these dragons, so they can't really spare anybody to come over here, right? So they're like setting it up in the next DLC. And if you remember in the trailer yesterday, we saw the credits. After the credits, there was like a dragon's roar at the end. So much time has passed since then. Like most people probably would have forgot. But they are setting it up, guys. I also didn't think we'd be out that black mage outfit so quickly. We look pretty cool still. You got a nice top hat. Let's take a look at this costume, shall we? Not the worst. I don't hate it. All right, not bad. We do have to keep collecting a lot of company seals though, because I have an awful lot of armor that we're never going to use again. It's old armor at this point. It's really old at this point. But you can use it for fashion, right? You can also just sell it if you know you're never gonna wear it, right? But I like to collect as much clothing as I can, because you never know. You might just be throwing on everything, right? I'm not sure if there's a randomizer button either. That'd probably be nice. So we're trying to find someone called the Ivy, right? That's like the person they think is embedded in the Immortal Flames. Big traitor in the midst. So we're looking for them. We're still not sure. They say they found out who it was, but we're not sure still. Not exactly. What the? That guy got it right. I believe in him. He can do it. Okay. At some point, we are gonna like slightly alter my character's look. I'm probably just gonna make him a little more tan because uh, something I was thinking about is that we kind of have like that faux scar. It's just face paint. We might switch it over to like the claw marks, right? And I think if we make his skin a little bit more tan, then we can change the color of the face paint to reflect the scar a little bit better. But we'll mess around with that a lot later on, more than likely. Ninjas. I'll be honest, I skipped all these cutscenes when I was playing, right? So I never saw this. Right, I just kind of read up on it after. I never seen that lady in my life. Isn't that like the class hobbits usually are, right? They're like rogues and thieves and like, I guess to some extent like a ninja. Right, if you were to make a hobbit, I think there would be like one of those classes. I'm not quite sure. Maybe more of a rogue, huh? But what is a rogue than like a low level ninja? I simply want to collect this crystal here. They're making it difficult for me. That's all I want to do. By the way, guys, if you see me looking off to the sides, right, I am looking at my chat. Uh, I'm still planning on making my smart TV like my chat. I think that's a good idea. I just have to reorganize a little bit. Okay, I forgot to eat a meal. That always is the annoying part. We have egg. You know what's funny? I think you can see the egg in his hand while he eats it. So let's take a nice close look. Um, it might just be something that looks like a piece of food. It's like a little piece of bread, huh? I need two of them. Now we're just trying to find Lady Ice. Alright, by the way, that is Louis Sua's cane, right? So remember the cutscene, he was a white mage. That's his cane. I think this is all they found of him. I skipped a full lot of things in the story, so uh, I'm not sure if they found more evidence, but that is um, that is it. I do have to do a lot of camera adjustments with this like small character. It's not the worst though. Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud. I'm not sure if anybody heard that. Although I'm not hiding my name, right? It's not a big deal to me. Where's the, there it is. That name is redacted. Redacted.
Am I right?
It's a big lady.
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Charlian scholar and an authority
I do believe they're all like every rogue thing that has like lighter skin or green skin. They have like either Norse or Viking sounding names. I do think that's intentional.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Back to the Rising Stones. All right. Oh, look at this Jacobo. I've never had like a different color Jacobo in the game. Um, I'm not sure if breeding them is a thing. I do think it actually is something you can do in this game. Um, we'll have to find out eventually, right? Because this is going to be my main character for this game, so we will figure it out. There will come a point, guys, when like I'll be just playing the game and you guys won't see much to it. Like story and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to document as much as I can, but there will come a point when I'm just gonna be playing for fun. Right, we're gonna switch up games. Diablo's coming out soon. Street Fighter 6 is coming out soon.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Oh, longer, sister. A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
She has a thigh tattoo.
Everyone, if I could have
She
your
has a
attention.
thigh tattoo, guys.
We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Charlian to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of Aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research.
We've also skipped a lot of raids, by the way.
A sample of which she has been good
There is a, I'm sure you've seen there's like some kind of crystal tower thing they talked about yesterday. We did kind of breeze through it, but if I go to a certain area, you know, there's a handful of raids. Those also give you like tombstones, I believe. Um, you know, those are like some very easy things to get through as long as you're like a DPS, right? Because there's like 28 people in there, so it's hard to go wrong. They're like the year one's things. You mostly breeze through them. Mostly. We'll probably start running them when we're the classes I want to be. That way we can level those up, because, you know, uh, we are planning on switching at some point.
Oriange, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this.
Was that his, that's his chick? He's so lucky. He's so damn lucky. That's not fair. It should have been me, damn it.
Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my computer.
I know what she looks like with high quality graphics. Right, because we look like we're playing like on a laptop for the most part. That's what it kind of looks like.
We have not. No.
And then, you know, I've seen it look a lot worse than this. I was playing on PS4 for quite a while, right? So it doesn't look
Even after careful
as bad as PS4. They look very plasticky.
we now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second Aetherite to impede our pursuit.
On older consoles, older generation stuff.
Our snowcloak for Ice Heart Sanctuary, but we have no guarantee.
If the Aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first Aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the Aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, Aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an Aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Never heard any of this.
Opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
and dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have white aura sight at their disposal. I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the etherite. However, white aura sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risk the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
I do think this is the door, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, alright? Hello guys, back. Sorry for the wait. I do really want to get this done with, right? So we're gonna keep going. Excuse me. Look at Ishgard, it's right there, guys. That's Ishgard. I just realized that. Look at it. That's the DLC. You see that right there? That beautiful land? And over there, we can't make it to that yet, I don't think. So, uh, you can see we're like right across from it. Right across from it. Is my mic on? Okay. I'll make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Right. We're gonna go there. There we go. Almost there. We're almost there, guys. I can feel it. I can feel it. So I do think this is actual. This might be the actual summon. This might be the actual icon. Right. This might be the actual primal. They call them both things, right? So I'll end up calling them icons a lot because they call us like the icon slayer, but then they call them primals a lot of the time. But they're, the name is interchangeable. Icons and primals, they're the same thing, to my knowledge. And it looks like it's just gonna be straight up boss fight. All right. So I do think this is gonna be just a fight. We're gonna have to queue up. We see how long it takes. is it? The amphitheater. We are going to use the queue finder, guys. Let's clear this whole selection first so we make sure everything is gone. Pop that open. Join this. I do think this is an actual like 8-player raid, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah. 4 DPS, 2 healers, 2 tanks. Shouldn't be too difficult, guys. And we're just gonna wait a little bit. And while I wait, I'm gonna moisturize a little. Moisturize a little, guys. Feel a little dry. Thankfully, my camera's not that high quality, so you guys can't see how bad my skin is. There we go. And I do think we have to wait a little bit. These things do queue fairly quickly, guys. Hoping it queues up quickly, though. We have a long night ahead of us, and we can't get tied up waiting. We might as well eat another egg while we wait, though. Good idea, right? Excuse me. You know, there's like usually you see a lot of people waiting around. That's when you know that, it might queue fairly quickly. But I don't see anybody right now. It is peak hours, though. So, they might be off. These are things you can queue up for and not be next to it. Right? So, they might be elsewhere. Hmm. You can check our currency as well. We have an okay amount of seals. I know we have the most, though. All right, we should actually do something though while we wait. Let's, what I think we can do is return to our town. Let's see if we can up our rank in our company, right? That's the Grand Flames? It's not called the Grand Flames. The Immortal Flames. Right, so ask for promotion. I think we have enough. No, we need 4,000 seals. We have to do a lot more of those like fates, basically. And you can keep the duty finder and get some seals as well, I believe. Which ones exactly? I'm not quite sure. At least think you can. There you go. Right, so the leveling mission will give you some seals, right? If you're a role in need, you get some bonus stuff, right? So if I was a tank and I would secure for this leveling thing right here, I get 2,000 seals. Sometimes they need a healer, right? More often than not, you will see the adventurer need as a tank. You know why people aren't tanks, right? Because despite your best efforts, tanks and healers are scapegoats in this game a lot, right? They get a lot of the blame. Doesn't matter how, Doesn't matter how shitty a DPS, right? I could be doing the worst rotation, which a lot of times I am on this class. And if we go down, people will shit on the healer or the tank. Right? So a lot of people don't want to tank or heal. They get to anxiety. I don't know what you call it for healer anxiety, right? Which is understandable, honestly. You never know what people are like in online situations, or in real life, for that matter. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a wait. Okay. All right. So what we can do, I think, is we can sell some of this. We can sell some of our items. There are some things that I know I'm never going to use, right? But like I said, I do like to have a lot of glamour prisms, and I like to turn most of it into fashion because you know, you might get some inspiration someday. And it's better to have more items than fewer because you never know how something's going to look in combination for another thing, unless you just buy outfits, right? And then whatever, right? Because those are just fully made, I believe. A lot of people you see here, they might have like a custom piece on, right? Because I'm not sure if this is the whole actual Marauder outfit. You can actually check. Looks like a whole piece. You can usually see like if you're looking to the right hand side, right? Do you see how it's kind of like changing back and forth? So I do think it changing back and forth is like what the costume actually is glamored by or transmuted by, right? So it's what would it be called? Pummeler's boots, right? And then Abyssal Solar's offending, or something like that. We will figure it out once we start making a costume. At some point, we will do that. Not anytime soon because we don't have more anywhere near the amount of styles I want to have. But we'll make like one or two costumes. There we go. We'll make like one or two costumes. Hopefully, it queues up. People really don't want to miss out on all these queues, really. So we will get in there, I believe. Missing a DPS. Like I said earlier, right? You can use your tombstones here. There's places all around the world you can use your tombstones on. Um, get primal gear, no ironware gear, right? This is like item level 130 stuff. So you can run a bunch of the raids and get a bunch of tombstones. You can see we already have like 1,000 of them. We weren't even trying to get 1,000, right? So if you sit there and grind, you'll get them. Again. It's gonna be easy. Now there is a cutscene here. I'm inclined to let it play. People know if you're watching the cutscene because you have like a little like old school cinema
You shall
like icon over your head.
here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down.
She has a fun fight. Her fight is fun.
We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance.
I know everybody's waiting for me though.
My flesh, fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Yeah, she's hot, guys. She's hot. Everybody's ready. They were waiting for me. She does have some phases, right? She uses like a sword, a wand, and a bow. Uh, uh-oh. And her fight, like a lot of these bosses are like tuned up to their music. She has a pretty good soundtrack. I think all these like soundtracks that play here, these are the ones that get copyrighted. But I don't have a copyright strikes because I think since the game allows you to stream it, like they're just taking the, I guess they're just taking your money, which we're not making any money to begin with, right? So right now it's not a problem, I guess. That's definitely. Like I said, guys, there are like very, very hard modes. These are like your one kind of bosses. So these like these things are called hard. They're easy at this point. People have like a lot of gear. You'll usually get people that are very strong in here, even though they're stack clamped, right? Their gear is just so powerful, right? And the rotations are so good. And you've been playing for a while. Usually it's easy. You'll see like harder fights when you pick the harder modes. You will have some troubles for sure. Uh, as long as you're not playing like unclamped, right? Because you can do these missions unclamped, which means that you can just come in here like level 99 and just mop the floor with her, which if you're farming for poetics and gear and stuff like that, perfectly fine. It is an option. You can do that clamped or unclamped. Up to you. It's not a big deal.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool.
And there are things you want in these raids. Mostly collectibles, right? There are mounts for each boss. Most of them in this like area, like Ifrit, Titan, Shiva Bahamut, they are like horses that have different colors attuned to the elements, right? So the Shiva horse would have like blue fiery hair, and whenever you ride them out, it will play the boss theme. So that's like a pretty cool thing you can get in here. Um, they drop like special weapons, so like you'll get like ice staff for Shiva or whatever, right? And it's a boss weapon. You can turn it into a style. You can sell it on the marketplace, all that kind of stuff. So there is a reason to come back here, as well as getting tombstones and helping people out for their first time in the raid, you get some extra goodies. Some extra just currency, basically.
We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the keeper of the lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander mother's gift. Hear, feel, think.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
We have a concussion. Is there a crystal there? Is there? No. Okay, so we're just gonna fly over there. In spite of like how fast we're blazing through the game, right? Because we're kind of just walking through the whole story, right? If you're playing the free trial, or if you're trying it out, you can just take your time with it, guys, all right? You know, I always say the story is a drag, but that's just me personally. You might end up liking it. It's different for everybody. Um, just find the class that you like, pretty much, right? Because you're never gonna like any game if you're playing, you know, you're playing with a class or playing with a weapon or a power set that you don't like at all. You're never getting any enjoyment of that. So try not to get too spoiled with videos and don't get caught up on like meta stuff. Right? Metas always change. And with a little work, you can make your class look good. I think almost all the classes are pretty close together when it comes to damage or healing or tanking, right? More of a comfort thing and just an enjoyment thing. You can kind of tell they worked on him later, right? Because his textures look a lot better and his model looks a lot better than a lot of the people in the first year of the game. I'm not sure when like all this stuff came out, right? It obviously came out in patches, right? But he looks like he came in later. Medium dragon head. Okay. Even if you try, guys, you can't fall into the abyss and die. They don't let you. There's only a couple things you can do. You can fall from really high and snap your ankles and die. Sometimes we'll get lucky and we'll get 1 HP, but you can fall to your doom. This happened a couple times. Or, you can do something unlucky like fall all the way down and get hit with the 1 HP thing, and then an enemy sees you. And he pokes you. And then that's it. We're getting close, guys. Could taste it. Where is he? Where are you at, sir? Let's slowly hit this button, right? Okay. Not quite yet.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Natalan.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal
We
endorsement.
do have water after all, guys.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We, too, have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgard Zoma could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am now. Why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
Of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second in command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind, for the sake of Ishgard.
Many movie cutscene.
Peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind.
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
One step closer. One step closer. Even though I say we're awfully close, right? I do think we still have a lot of missions to do. We're just awfully close in context to how far we were a couple of days ago. It might be possible tonight still. I'm hoping it is. And you guys know, whenever they're not like actually physically talking, with a voice coming out, we're gonna cut that right out the game.
Words cannot well express
Oh,
how
they're
glad I am to
talking.
see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Curthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it. Excellent. I shall summon the others at once. Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoix's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogglmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not. But full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
Complete. Another mission out. Level 110. Call for it. So a lady in the forest that we caught not too long ago. You're reading as fast as I did. She escaped. You have to help find her now. I'm trying to be careful because I'm not sure if there's enemies nearby. It looks like there are, actually. I should have checked if I had a lot of time left on my meal. There's all this stuff going on. A death claw. I do think these death claws are something to like get rid of quickly. Seeing as this Centurion is up still. The reason you want to get rid of them like that because they do like this kind of grab attack. It squishes everybody. Maybe we should just get her. Looks like, right? I can't find her though. Oh, there she is right there. Who died? Someone must have died. Hold on though, guys. I do have to check something before we get started. A little distracted here. Hold on 1 second, folks. So sometimes missions like this, right, you do have to protect someone. I can't let them die. I'm on normal. I don't know why I went down to easy, but proceed. Oh, Albert, we can't let him die. Alright, so gotta keep an eye on him. We did see this cutscene already, right? So let's get started. I'm trying like desperately to get this claw. What the claw does, basically it grabs somebody and then they just become immobile and you have to like free them. Right, so I'm just trying my best to basically keep the healers alive. If you have a good AoE, this is like the time to use it, honestly. Because once they go, Elbird is going to be in trouble. That's kind of where I get in trouble too, is because I don't really have a good AoE. At least, you know, my rotation doesn't have a good AoE. I get interrupted a lot. The healers are down. Right, all kinds of stuff starts happening here. I do think he's gonna die, so let's see if we can help him out a little bit. See, for fights like this, he's gonna buy it. He's done for. Yeah. So fights like this, I usually just don't really care. We can lower the difficulty because we're just trying to get out of the story, right? You won't be here forever. It's not really gonna matter. So lower it. You're gonna lower it, guys. Are you trying to move on? Is this Deathclaw? I'm this damn Deathclaw right here. There we go. You see, she says to kill the healers first, right? So, a good AoE would do you wonders here. Because you want the healers to stay alive, obviously. Right, there's a healer right here. He's tethered to that armor, right? So he's keeping him alive. Honestly, we could just probably dust her off at this point. It seems like we do have to deal with everybody. Here. We did it, guys. Let's
I've heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Roban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the blades watch him in the flames day and night. I shall personally attend her grace. another one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo unamo. For my sake, pray.
Made it back just in time. And I remembered that my mic was off for a second. Boy. The night is burning by pretty quick. I have to be careful. Alright, let's try to get out of here quickly. The rising stones. Okay. All right. I'm glad I'm streaming a lot longer though, right? A lot of these games that we play, uh, when we first started, it was like basically 2 hours, right? 2 hours is not going to cut it. It never is going to cut it.
Welcome back, my
Even for
friend.
regular games, I think
I have
2 hours
already
is
received
not
an
enough
offer,
time.
you know.
So I'm glad we are streaming
They
more
claim
often.
Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say. Together with Robon, Helene lent us much needed aid at the time of our order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Asians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled. My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with white aurosite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Asian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability.
In addition to aurosite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Asian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Asian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had two pieces of white orosite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
'Twould seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the Orosite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
To investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the Isle's disappearance.
All these cutscenes are pretty long, though.
Come to light that a number of scholars in various
They really pick and choose their times to just dump a bunch of lore on you.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessium. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it.
Suggest Ascian involvement. But I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the one true God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
I am looking forward, though, to a very long cutscene so I can grab some dinner. It's going to be a long cutscene, though, guys. I think there might be two of them, actually, coming up.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Waiyu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th.
I really do like Ruban's face for a character model. Right, I know there's like a lot of mods on the game.
But this
you know, like to alter your character. But I wonder if there's any like LFL mods to make him look like a little less chubby, right? A little more humanish, like I guess you would say, right? Proportions look a little better. I really wonder, and I wonder if I can be bothered to even download it and install it and all that. It shouldn't be too hard, right? I could definitely use like a better like texture for them, more humanish looking fingers or hands or something like that. They're just like walking potatoes, basically.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the
We're inching ever
Prophets.
closer. The bad part to this is right. You know, when we hit that little milestone of hitting the cutscene, uh, you know, technically we'll be streaming, but also we'll be watching a movie basically, right? So I will miss out on some actual game time, but we're gonna let it play, like just for the purposes of having it documented on the stream. I think, like I said, there might be two of them. There might be two of them. My memory's a little foggy. I know there's at least one major one though.
And Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the Calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar had opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Carlian army, now known as Emperor Vorissos Galvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's
But technically, I guess we're also missing out on game time here, right?
a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
Seven hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or Monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my...
could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monitoring scum. Your crimes will not go unpunished. TM, purge this land of your sickness before the eyes of the 12. I swear it.
Okay.
I shall have no further need of you this day.
Are we not on cutscene right now?
Your Grace.
I think we are. I think we are, guys.
I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill,
I think we might be in one of them.
has risen to greater prominence.
They usually let you know though, unless I mash so hard, but I didn't see anything. Did you guys? I don't remember. I don't remember now. What I do know is that some Game of Thrones shit is about to happen pretty soon. So I'll be ready for that.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. Unrest and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Uldar have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked.
Maybe.
There shall
We'll
ever be
see.
citizens who feel aggrieved.
We'll see.
It cannot be
It kind of makes me laugh just because it reminds me so much of like a particular, like when you see, you'll be like, oh, I know what you're talking about, right? If there's like some popular scenes that I'm sure everybody has seen at some point, something similar. You know, I'm not gonna say what happens in this. It just makes me laugh sometimes because it just looks silly in a game like this, right? For something like that to happen.
Even accounting for Uldar's historic reliance upon mercenaries.
This is an awful long cutscene, though. God damn.
Security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
I don't think we're there quite yet. We're almost there, though. We're almost there. Definitely.
Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done.
I mean, I'm glad they thought of all this story, but sometimes, come on.
The true wealth of Uldar lies in the health.
Because you know, some people will say, and there is like some truth to it. Like I don't care if the game has a shitty story. I just want to play it. I do think story matters, right? I think the story needs to be there a little bit, at least.
But in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish
I don't like playing games where the story shit. Well, but the gameplay is good, and you're playing a crappy game though.
of the people.
Playing a shit game.
For Uldar to move forward, it is not only the syndicate that must be dissolved.
They both go hand in hand, right? Gameplay and story for the game, in my opinion at least. Right? It needs to have a little bit of both. A game can have amazing cutscenes and story, and then you're not playing the game, right? We're sitting here chilling.
That I requested your presence here. When I make my
Like, is it a game or are we just watching an FMV at this point?
inevitably ensue. As the last monarch
Someone got kicked out a window? I have to I have to think about that. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. That was the first episode. That was the first episode. He didn't get kicked out the window. He got pushed.
and you forsake yourselves.
Same thing though, almost, right? One is with a hand, one is with a foot. What was wrong with the story? You just found it boring?
There is no other way. When the time is right.
Oh, for Game of Thrones, right? Did you just find it boring?
Republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be.
Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, it's still not over anyway. It looks like it might be over. Is it? Is it? Okay. Oh, fair enough. Wait, what? Why is this? Oh, are we? Do we have to do double missions? What the crap is this? Wait, what do you have, lady? Good intentions. Oh, we got to do hard mode bullshit. Why are they doing this to me? Why are they doing this to me? So we have to do Bowl of Embers hard, the Naval hard, Howling Eye hard. Did we not do those? Did we not do those? I feel like we did. We have a recurring problem. No. No, we didn't. They're forcing missions upon me, sirs. Fair enough, though. It does take a little bit to start. You know, to start getting good. Now I'm just annoyed. Now I'm just very annoyed. They're gonna make me do these damn missions to progress in the game. My food ran out, I just realized too. So it might take a little bit longer than I thought, damn. I'm trying. You see once we hit a certain point though, it goes down to a crawl, like the level game, because they want you to like be in the next area. Like the leveling will really pick up once we get to the DLC. We've been completing a bunch of missions, right? We've been having our food, we have heat of battle, we have all this experience like boosting stuff. It's taking a long time. Alright, I think I'm gonna do, guys, let's accept this mission and let me take like a small little break and maybe see if I can grab something light to eat. Because we're gonna have to queue up some stuff and we might be sitting here for a while. So these are the 3 things here. This is a recurring problem. Actually, let me come down here, right? Because I want to make sure we have the right mission. I don't want to do these missions in the wrong order and then be screwed. So let's make sure we have this mission down here. Which I think just sets me up to do those hard mode missions over there, because those missions that we were just looking at are the hard mode versions of the trials. And the reason, like, you know, we can explain away the Primals coming back is because, as you say, like, when we kill them, they just kind of return into, like, energy. And they can be resummoned. Right, we're not, like, we're technically not killing, we're just, like, destroying their body, their soul goes back into the aether, or the life stream, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it does pick up, though. Once we make it to where we're going, it's going to pick up again. We just skip this cutscene. Okay, so now we got to talk to Erninger. We were just there, right? But let's do it in order that way. You know, I don't want to like talk to him and then technically, since I didn't talk to her, it doesn't count, right? Because that happens sometimes, and it's bullshit. We'll talk to Erninger. We'll grab those 3 missions, and hopefully, once we finish those, you know, we'll be good to go with everything else. Right. So now we have the 3 hard mode missions. So there's if it bleeds, we can kill it, right? That's wait, what? So we need it for bleeds. We can call it, right? Doesn't look like we even have it, so we'll do, let's see what we need for good intentions. We're just gonna grab everything, right? So we'll grab that. The good thing is we can just queue up for them. Is this it right here? We need this as well. Alright, we're gonna try to do it in order, guys, but first let's go to the duty finder. Let's clear the whole selection out, make sure it's clean. And now we'll have, let's see. Speak with Swift at the Hall of Flame, so let's just go there. Let's go there, let's get it started, right? And then I'm gonna go grab something to eat very quickly. They're really trying me tonight. What the hell? I should have streamed earlier like I wanted to, right? But I took a little nap. I took a little nap, and then this is how they were paying me. Let's make it up to there, right? Because I have to attune to it to even queue up. So we're gonna make it over there. We're gonna make it over there first, right, guys? And then we'll do what we have to do. I am dedicated to trying to make sure we get it all done and get out of here today. So at least come morning. At least come morning. Oh man, it is a lot though. Thankfully, we do have the Chocobo. There's a lot more flying than I gave them credit for, right? Because I remember being like, we got flying, and then basically I just went to the DLC. Could have been because I was playing with friends and it didn't seem as long as it was going now, right? Because I always had like a healer and a DPS around. And, you know, the queues popped fairly quickly because I was a tank. You know, so we just got in and out of everything. And we were mashing through those cutscenes. Can I dismount, please? Thank you. All right. Eat this meal. Now we can attune. So you can see for these, you can't do it with any kind of NPCs, right? Only queue up with a group. Thankfully, since this is still like early game, these should be for the most part very easy. The mechanics are a little bit harder, but I think you can just kind of strong arm your way through it, right? You could power your way through it. But with that said, guys, I am gonna grab something to eat and drink. So I'll be back in maybe 15-20 minutes. I have to see what I want to get. All right. Little break, guys. I will put BRB here in the chat. So I'll I'll be back, folks. I'll be back. welcome back. Thought I'd probably just sit here and talk to you guys for a little. Let me turn on the camera. Let's fix all this stuff while we're here. Um, we'll do just chatting for now, right? Someone told me I had to get. I'm not sure what it's called. All right, how you doing? How are you? 1 second. How's everybody doing tonight? We have some food here. I just have some tortillas with some like ground up turkey in there. They're supposed to be healthy, but you never know these days, right? They're very dry. They're very dry. It's nothing like when I was visiting my chick in Mexico, right? She says that you have to make them fresh, and I guess I see the point because these are a little. They're never as good. They're never as good. But let's fix this stream info first, guys, before we get started. We're going to continue with the Final Fantasy, right? I just would like to eat. I'm getting all kinds of issues working everything today. It is dry, extremely dry. Uh, let's fix this. Can I please edit the stream info, please? All right, now will let me. There we go. Let's change it to just chatting. And there we go. All right, guys. We're back. I'm just going to eat and talk to you guys for a little bit. As you guys know, right before we started streaming earlier, got a phone call around close to 8 p.m. Eastern time. And, I can say these things because you guys don't really know my family like that, right? You don't see them on camera. We did hear, and I think a lot of people saw it down there because a lot of people do hang out downstairs in front of our building. It's kind of like a hangout spot. Um, that my uncle got hit by a car, and all right, so right before we started streaming, I got a phone call saying that my uncle got hit by a car. Yeah, and we didn't know what condition he was in, right? So apparently, right now we're getting like some reports, I guess you would say. And this is like, I come from like a big family. Uh, so I have a lot of like second and third cousins from like an older generation that are so old. Like at this point, we call them like tios and uncles and like, aunts because they're just like, they're way older. They're like 50 now, 60, etc. Right? But this uncle, I have two uncles that are like my mom's brothers, right? Like my actual blood relations, like the first generation kind of stuff. So this is like one of my real uncles. Not that my other families aren't real, right? But this is immediate family. Um, Basically, a car just fucking nailed him, right? There's no other way to put it. It really hammered him. Uh, and apparently he was dead, but they resuscitated him. So from what I hear, he is more than likely stable, but he's a lot of broken bones, and they're still operating on him. So who knows what's going to happen, right? But from what I understand, he's somewhat stable now, right? That's always subject to change. He's older, first of all. There's a lot of hemorrhaging and bleeding, right? They are still operating, from what I understand. So yeah, we don't. I don't even think he's in the ICU yet. He's in operation, like he's in the operation room, from what I understand, right? It could be different right now. He could be done operations and stuff like that. But he got hit pretty bad, from what I heard. hit pretty bad. It's not like just, oh, I like broke an arm or like bounced across the street or something like that. It's pretty bad. Now, I don't know who hit him and things like that, right? I don't watch the news, so I don't know if it's on the news or anything like that either. I know everything was taped off. Um, so I don't know what the situation is going to be like in a couple of days or tomorrow, because who knows what is going to happen, right? If he's going to make it or not, we don't know. But from what I understand, he is in operation, so he's still alive at the moment, right? And I don't want to sit here and cry or, it looks like it might be a little excessive, but the fact is we don't know what's going on, and I'm not going to sit here and worry without knowing the actual story, right? So I'm not going to sit here and try to get people to pity, right? Because who knows, he might pull through, right? So there's that. There is that. Damn, it's dry. It's dry. It is dry, folks. But in case I'm not on tomorrow or something like that, uh, more than likely that is wise because I'm going to be dealing with something. Uh, I'm sure you guys understand, right? Hopefully, hopefully it's just a hospital stay and a big bill or whatever is going to happen. Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. Family's fucking annoying, but I don't want anybody to go out like that or to go out in general, right? It's still family. I'm still gonna play Final Fantasy. Like I said, we don't know. We don't know what's going on, right? So, uh, find out later. We'll find out later. It's a little hard here because, I'm sure you guys know I do live at home, right? Basically, I'm here with my mom and my other uncle because I have two uncles, right? And my granddad is living here, but my granddad is being taken care of because he has Alzheimer's and dementia, and it gets a little bit worse every day. I'm sure you guys, know a little bit about it. So, it's just a shitty situation, and it's hard for them because they have to take shifts a lot of the time. I don't speak Spanish, but if it comes down to it, I do watch them when I can. It's just there's a big language barrier there, and he doesn't know who we are, per se. Like he knows that there's like the man and the woman's here, right? But he doesn't remember that that's his like daughter, that's his son. He thinks they're like little children still. So for them to travel back and forth to the hospital, they still have jobs and stuff like that. My uncle was a home attendant here, but sometimes he wants to go out still, just and just have a normal life, right? So they do kind of work in shifts, and then when if I'm able to, like I said, there's a big language barrier there, and he does get frustrated sometimes, and it gets bad. It gets pretty bad. So for someone to go to the hospital, you would have to have someone here to watch him all the time. He's prone to stealing things, and he doesn't remember, so he thinks everything is his. So he might take something and hide it somewhere. If you dealt with someone that has that kind of condition, it's something that's hard for them to control because they just don't remember anything, right? And the fact that he doesn't remember who we are, I've met him a bunch of times, so he should know who I am, but he doesn't know that I'm his grandson anymore, or even that his own children are his, right? So, he might wake up and get confused. Right. Yeah. I do have a lock on my door, but like he's more prone to the thing he'll do most, and this is something that happened before he came here, was when he was living with his sister at the time, in Brooklyn somewhere, and he would say he's going to the store, and then the minute he leaves the apartment, he'll forget where he was at or where he was even going, right? So he still thinks he's in Puerto Rico. We are in New York City, right? So he thinks he's in Puerto Rico, and he'll just wander off looking for like his old house somewhere that's in Puerto Rico, right? So there was a time where he was missing for like a month. Sometime he was missing like 2 weeks, and eventually, people will see an old guy. Usually, thankfully, they left him alone. Like he never got beat up, to my knowledge. like no one ever punched his old lights out or whatever, which sad to say can happen here, and more often than not will happen here, right? But they left him alone. He just probably slept on a bench somewhere when he got tired. Don't know where the hell he slept, right? Uh, so after a couple of times like that, my mom just wanted to keep him close by. Uh, with that said, it is very hard because we're not doctors and nurses, and you know, we're not trained to handle someone like that. It is family, yes, but that requires special attention and needs. Yeah, that sucked. I did not like. I hope that guy got knocked out. Whoever punched Rick Moranis, I hope he got knocked the hell out. How dare they? That man is a gem, right? But these things are prone to happen, right? People will see someone weak and pick on them, right? And he's an old man. He doesn't understand English, right? Who knows? Who knows who was messing with him? Right? We don't know. Uh, but that happened a couple of times. So uh, even though we could have put him in a home or like I don't know what the proper term for these things, a hospice, something like that, right, where he's taken care of. Um, my mom worries about him because it's her dad, right? So she's trying her best, but she's not a nurse or a doctor, so it can get very frustrating at times. You don't know, the best way to take care of him. Of course, something like this happens now. You have to make sure he's taken care of, and then go see your brother, right? So it's gonna be hard for them. I do my best over here, but like I said, communication is a big thing, and I don't want him to get violent or scared or something like that. Oh, okay. Okay, like I said, I don't know the proper term, right? I guess like a home, you would say, right? Like a home for him to be at. I don't know the term, but there's somewhere he could stay, right? That they would watch him. He has like insurance, so my mom has power of attorney over him. There's a place he can stay, but she just wants to make sure he's okay, which in a way is hurting both of them because she has to see her dad like that every day, and he wants to just be able to go outside and that kind of stuff, like a care home. Yes, thank you, like a care home, right? And she does her best, but it's not. I, in my opinion, it's not like as good as a care home would be. But she wants to do it, and I'm not going to stop her from watching her dad. It's up to her. Um, but it just makes a bad situation when something serious happens, and you can't be here to watch him every day like you want to. She still has a regular job as well, so. Uh, but that's life, guys, right? Sometimes bad things happen, and you just gotta roll with the punches. With that said, though, my tortillas are getting awful cold, so let's hurry up and eat these things. They're pretty dry, and they'll do. I do think I need some water, guys. Right, I'll be just like a moment, though. I'll be right back. back. Let me just get situated. All right. So I decided to get some coffee instead because it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a pretty long night. I'm going to be up long waiting for my other uncle. You know, he's going to see his brother in the hospital to see what's going on. Uh, you know, being as my granddad is like uh, very out there mentally, we have a lot of like locks and chains on the door and stuff like that, so he doesn't wander away. Or we could have some inkling of hearing him like messing with keys or chains and stuff like that. Because once he leaves the house, if he gets out of the building, we're going to be hard pressed to find him because he can walk for days and days, it seems like, and just disappear. And New York has a large homeless population, so um, at some point after a couple of days, he'll look like any other hobo out in the street, right? So, my other uncle went to visit his brother, so I'm going to be up waiting for him to come back so that I can lock the door and let him in. See how everything is going. So it's going to be a long night, is what I'm saying. So I decided to get some coffee instead. It's not going to go on my food, but uh, that's how it is. It's awful hot. It's awful hot. But on a positive note, we're going to keep playing Final Fantasy tonight. Hopefully, we can make it out of this Realm Reborn. We have quite a ways to go, guys. We have quite a ways to go. So I should probably go a little bit faster. No, also, like I said, I'm not looking for a pity. I'm not one of those kind of guys. If it was like something I was fishing for, I'd rename the whole stream like, you know, Uncle got hit by a car. Give me stuff. Right? Some people do that. This will be good. It'll keep my mind busy. You know, not much we can do. Not much I can do. I did see. There was a YouTube video was talking about how a guy. Um, I guess he heard a fight going off somewhere, and he like ran down the block, and he saw someone that got deleted. Basically, I'm not sure how you can say these things, right? He got deleted, and he made a TikTok video about it, and it was just like, filming the guy with all his bodily fluids coming out. Some vile stuff. Vile stuff people do for attention. I don't know. It's a big reason why I don't like social media too much. People are so starved for attention; they'll do anything they can, and honestly, it's a little disgusting, right? But at some point, we are gonna have to make a couple things because I do need some attention myself, right? But I'm not used to using those things, and that's not the kind of route I want to go, right? I want to do disgusting content for likes and clicks and stuff like that. I'll be happy knowing that we just tried it. Oh, I heard he got gut shot. I heard he got gut shot. Yeah, I think I saw that video the other day. He was pretending like he was stealing. Well, like I guess he was messing with some guy's groceries or whatever. He should be thankful he's alive. I heard his dad was making excuses for him too, saying he was just playing with people. Yeah, he made it. He's extremely fortunate, and you think that would be a cue for someone to stop fucking around, basically, right? Because he found out, right? But he's still gonna be an idiot. I'm guessing. You never know with these people. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, and I guess it comes with age, and I don't have any children, so I know being a parent is hard sometimes, and that's your baby and stuff like that. But uh, that should be a lesson. That should really be a lesson. You got shot in your damn stomach for doing something so stupid, so trivial, right? Like nobody likes to be messed with. Nobody likes to be messed with, and even if it's for, and then these days you get messed with, and then you go online and you see it over and over again, and people are, LOL, right, and putting thumbs up to your misery. You weren't in on the joke, right? It's completely different if you were in on it and you're part of the fun, right? But a random guy going up messing you just to get views for it, to boost his like self-esteem and confidence in his channel. People don't want to be a part of that. Some people don't even want to be, and seen on the public, online and pictures and stuff. They're private people. They go out to the store, they come home, they go to work. They don't want to be part of this whole nonsense that's going on. Right now, I'm not saying the guy should have just shot him for no reason, right? Because I don't know what happened. I don't know how it escalated, but you know, you would think that that's something to take to heart. Right. I know if I got good shit, I'd be like, look, I'll make a video. Look, guys, I fucked up. I should have never did that. I was doing something stupid, basically, right? My daddy and my mommy sure as hell aren't gonna speak for me, no matter how old I am or how young I was. This is why, like, I don't watch too much news and drama channels and stuff like that. I do, eventually it does show up on your feed. You come across it. A lot of bad shit out there. With the way the news covers it, it seems like it's more bad than good these days, right? That's what people like clicking. That's what they like watching. They like a good drama, like a good little drama story. This is so damn dry, guys. That's why it's taking me long to eat. My teeth are fighting it. Yeah, yeah. I don't catch much of the news. Like I haven't watched the regular news in years. And when I say years, I mean like years and years, like 10 years plus. Because it's all fear, it's all drama, it's all the little things of positivity are just like trash. Like you don't see anything that's positive that's actually good. It's like, oh, it's a throwaway story, something I can't even think of because it means nothing in this world, right? But if they want you scared, if they, oh, COVID, murder hornets, all kinds of nonsense, train derailments. Hmm, that was a long time ago. I remember where I was in 9/11. I was in high school when they wouldn't let us leave. Um, it was a pretty bad situation. You know, uh, a lot of parents came and pulled their kids out of school that day. I was 18, I think. I think I was 17 or 18 when it happened. Uh, my mind is a little hazy, right? But everything was out. The trains were out. Uh, Public transportation wasn't working, right? People were just walking for miles and miles back to their boroughs. Uh, you know, uh, they were getting offered water out in the street at least. There was some kind acts going on at the time. Really rough day. And then I remember one thing in particular was, there's a store downstairs because I live in pretty much the same area my whole life within the span of like maybe 9 or 10 blocks, right? Um, there's a store downstairs, and it's run by Muslim people, by Muslim folk, and big part of the community. Like they're, everybody goes to that little bodega every day, and I go and I get some, I get some snacks or whatever. And one guy goes, he's buying something, and he's very serious, and he goes, don't go. He goes, yeah, he goes, don't you go bombing us now. And he's like pointing his finger really, really, like he really means it, like, very insensitive. I'm sure they don't want any trouble. They don't want nothing. They have nothing to do with it. They're just trying to live that American dream, right? Just running a business, making money, sending money back home, and just fucking with people for no reason. Yeah, yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And I was too young, but I was good. I wanted to tell them, that, don't let it bother you too much. But the album's here. I'm a damn teenager, right? They're older. I'm sure they knew what they had to do to keep their heads up. I'm not getting up again, so we're gonna put this. Leave it for another day. It is gonna be a long night though, because I'm not sure how long, you know, my uncle's gonna be over there. Probably for a while. Thankfully, we have some stuff that we can do to help the passing of time. Let's fix the stream info right now. No, Mountain Dew. I'm not like super fit or anything like that, right? I'm just trying to maintain a healthy weight, and I could lose some more pounds, honestly. I could lose some more pounds. I have some pictures of like when just a couple years ago, like I really went hard on like the calorie counting. So I was drastically skinnier, right? I was drastically skinnier. Me drinking a lot of alcohol kind of put some pounds back on, but it's hard to maintain just like not eating, right? Right? Just not eating like a salad for lunch and then just sitting there starving is difficult, right? So I just try to be a little healthier, exercise a little more often, keep it. Don't have a fucking McDonald's burger every day. I would love a cheeseburger every day, like I used to have when I was 19, 20, right, my early 20s. Nice 10-piece of chicken nuggets, chicken tenders sound real good right now. We get back into it, guys. Finally back. One thing I do like is that the game lets you be away for an awful long time. With that said, we can queue up. And I probably could have queued up earlier and been sitting here for a while, but let's do it. We're not going to queue up all of them because I don't know. You see, now that I have that queued up, I have Root Awakening. I have to actually beat them, I believe, in order for me to get to the next part of the story. So we're going to do it one by one. And I don't want this whole thing full up with side quests. So the wait time isn't too long. Hopefully it pops pretty quickly. Mountain Dew? McDonald's? Is McDonald's overpriced? Is that what we're saying? McDonald's, I hear you. Yeah, yeah. They made made a lot of money when the COVID hit. I was considering doing like food delivery for a while. I was doing security guard stuff at the time though, but I would go out for lunch or dinner and I would see just, bikes and bikes and cars, all at White Castles and McDonald's just getting delivery. Right? They really made bank. Good for them. Good for them. If I had a car, I probably would have did it, right? But I do live in the city. Most people that drive in the city, they don't live right here, right? Because parking is a nightmare here. Right? They drive into the city from right outside of it. Well, even eating healthy is expensive too, right? Salad costs so much, and then like it lasts so little, right? You got to eat it quickly. I remember one time I tried to stock up, and that was a bad idea because all of it wilted. And I was sitting here looking at slimy leaves. Not a good look. And while we're waiting, I guess we can grab this mission, right? There's no harm in that. Because I do know that's going to be one that we need to do. So we'll just grab it. It's already been 3 hours, huh? I've been away back and forth, so I'm not sure if that's a full 3 hours we're gonna count for the stream. We're gonna be on as long as we can, though, and I have no choice but to wait, so I might as well be on regardless. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna make us fight every primal in hard mode before we can continue. That is annoying. Have to beat Bowl of Embers hard. Okay, so I still gotta wait regardless. And here we are, we're waiting, guys. I guess what I could do is check our currency. There's a few things we can do. I'm gonna need 4,000 of these flame seals first of all, at least. I'm gonna need more than that though, a lot, if we're gonna turn our items into fashion. Because we have a bunch of jobs here. We could walk around and get some of the hunting logs completed, which I think I did most of them when I was kind of just messing around with this character. Most of the starting ones, at least. But let's check his hunting log. So I have to get Spriggan Grave Robbers and Graveyard Shell Sweepers. Central Townland, and he's in Central Townland. Okay. Okay, they're all in Central Townland. So what we can do is teleport there. And it seems like they're in Black Clutch, which I have no idea where the hell that is at. We'll walk around and find it. The only thing that sucks about this is when the queue pops, if we're in combat, we have to get out of it fairly quickly. I see a very tall, hot lady over here. We'll leave it like that while I have this coffee. Alright. So, Central Downland. They said Black Clutch, right? Let's check our map. Oh, maybe over here somewhere? The Clutch. Maybe I misread it, right? Maybe it's just the Clutch. There's some ants over here. There goes one. So, Vegan Gladiator is pretty cool. You get a shield throw, guys. Look at this. Shield throw. Right, I can interrupt them. Oops, I killed them. Right, you get your defense up, you get your attack buff. Right, you get your 1, 2, 3 here. You see he's dying on the 2s. We can still execute our 3 though, so let's just do that for fun. There you go. Okay, so I got the Outling Soldiers complete. Now we need... They look like little dust bunnies, right? Let's check our log again. The Spriggans. Spriggans and Kukiran? Kikiran? They're both in Central Thailand, by Blackbrush Station. So... Let's see. Over here somewhere. Probably not over there. The good thing about this is... Okay. Okay, we got it. Thankfully, we are on a computer, right? So PC. So it's easy for me to switch and then quickly get to where we need to get to. I can also eat an egg before we start. I can't eat an egg because we're queued up now, right? But when we get in there, we can eat our meal. All we need is the tank. The second tank to queue in and we're good. You see, it starts out a little bit different, I think. Let's eat an egg very quickly. So we shouldn't have too much troubles, honestly. There is a difficulty above this mode, right, guys? So you won't see too many of the mechanics, I'll be honest with you guys. And just try to stay away from the edges of the arena, because I do think that the fire hurts you if you touch it. Right? That's why he kind of knocks you back a bunch of times. Those cracks on the floor, you just want to get out of that because that is AoE eventually. You need to get these infernal nails, I believe. I do think it's one at a time. I did a shit ton of damage just now. I heal myself. I'm so dead. I even gotta cast my my super. I remember. But he's dead. Hopefully they'll pick me up. No? I guess not. That's fine. And there is loot to be had. See, there's Ifrit's Star Globe, which is for Astrologian, so we can't even get it. And then there is Infernal Weapon Coffer, which is basically like a monster, like, you know, a weapon style based on Ifrit. We're gonna need that. You see, people are waiting because they want that. And I got it. It's mine, guys. And with that said, we have it complete, right? So now we can get Garud Awakening. Over there and do it. I'm not sure if we're gonna open it right away. Let's take a look. I think I can like take a peek inside. Maybe not though. It is only item level 60, mind you guys, right? The item level for the weapons we have are pretty high already, I think. Actually, not at all. Not at all. We could probably put it on. We might as well, huh? Why not? Why not? Let's put it on. Ifrit's Rod. I mean, Ifrit's Rod. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There we go. So it has a nice little Ifrit kind of effect, right? You see little Ifrit horn. Little Ifrit horn. Nice and glowy. It's a hot cat girl, right? So usually all of these you have to like make it to where they're at first of all, right? So you have to go to Adder's Nest. Pretty close. And I'm sure they're gonna send us elsewhere after that. That's usually how it goes, guys. bad guys. Hold on a second.